I am not going to sit here and be judged for not wanting to honor any legacy this man has left behind. That should be in the dustbin of history, and we should hopefully move on and forget the hate that he spewed every single day.
If you compare Ilhan Omar's attitude to that of Charlie Kirk's widow, the contrast is quite stark, isn't it? It's quite stark. You had tens of thousands of people cheering as Erica Kirk forgave a man for shooting her husband dead, while the left won't forgive Charlie Kirk for saying words that they didn't agree with.
They want to excuse the behavior on the left, and they say both sides have violence. But it's amazing to me the reaction and the lead up to it. And what I mean by that is think about all of these issues of violence. When there have been incidents of violence on the right that have occurred with folks on the left, it has resulted in vandalism, destruction, violence, hatred. Look at what the last week has invoked. Thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people, I dare say, that have been called to prayer, to faith, to honor and faithfully and peacefully protest the death of him, but in a call to faith and to activism. And I think the reaction and the demonstration that you've seen from how people reacted to Charlie Kirk shows that one side is very different than the other side in terms of how they act and react to situations of this nature.
Yeah, it's certainly a very clear demonstration of two distinct worldviews and the fruits of those worldviews. While we're on the subject of forgiveness, has Jimmy Kimmel been forgiven? He was abruptly taken off air after giving a monologue last week suggesting Kirk's killer was part of the MAGA gang and mocking Donald Trump's reaction to the assassination. But Disney has just announced the TV host will return to his show.
Of course they did. And by the way, just to be clear, he has never apologized for this. He spread misinformation and lied. And frankly, the big thing that people in Australia need to understand is there's a difference in the United States about our broadcast networks, ABC, CBS, NBC, and our cable networks. The ones that use public airwaves, those networks, ABC, NBC, and CBS, have a responsibility to the public. In fact, the FCC, which is the government agency that regulates them, they have an obligation not to spread misinformation. And when Jimmy Kimmel uses a late-night show to attack the MAGA movement, and in fact, not just attack it, but lie to the American people about the nature of this heinous crime, then ABC, by allowing him back on, is complicit in this. These people are lying and using the public airways to do it, and it's a shame.
Just before I let you go, Sean, you mentioned ICE agents earlier. Californian Governor Gavin Newsom says he's going to legislate to force Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers to show their faces rather than wear masks. Here are his comments.
This is an outrage, what we have allowed to happen in this country. And I could not be more proud of this legislature, the legislative authors, to the community demanding more from all of us at this moment to push back. I'll be signing a bill, the first in the nation, saying enough. ICE, unmask. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of?
Sean, to unmask ICE agents, is this a good idea?
Well, first of all, just to be clear, it's a stunt. He has no legislative. These are federal agents. They have federal authority. They don't really care, or there's no legal authority for Gavin Newsom to tell a federal agent what to do. It's just, so it's a stunt. Let's just call it what it is. But secondly, the only reason that their faces are covered is because they're being doxxed and threatened by the left. They're putting out their names, their addresses, their faces, and their families under attack. And just one little bit of irony in this whole thing, James. Those same leftists that are so concerned about mask wearing never had a problem with telling everyone they had to wear a mask during COVID. They never had a problem with a mask when Antifa was committing acts of violence and destruction and vandalism throughout cities in America. So it's interesting that they suddenly now care about masks when they never seemed to care so in the past.
Bingo. Sean Spicer, you're always a joy to speak with. Thanks so much for joining me tonight.